My people, welcome back to the Open Play podcast. I'm your host today, Ikena, aka Reunited IK, joined by my co-host and resident statman, Dai, aka Statman Dai. How you feeling today, man?
Doing really good, man. I'm doing good. Hope you're doing good as well.
Yes, sir. Doing. I mean, I'm always doing good, man. But we hope that you guys are doing good as well. And before we get into this episode, I would just like to ask that you guys subscribe to the channel, please, and thank you. Some of you guys are regulars, so if you haven't hit that subscribe button already, hit it. If you're a new guy here as well, hit that subscribe button. Follow us on social media as well. Our handle is at the Open Play Pod on all social media platforms: X, Instagram, and TikTok. So follow us on social media as well if you like our content. But with that, let's get into the episode now. And as you guys already know by now, Thomas Tuchel selected a 35-man squad for England the last international break. And a lot of controversy went into that. Some players missed out, some players that made it, maybe people thought they shouldn't have made it, some players that went there, people thought that they should have been there. A lot of controversy as well with the amount of players that he called up. And I wanted to ask you, Dave, before we get into everything, do you think that it was a smart move for Thomas Tuchel to call up a 35-man squad right before, like the final international break before the World Cup, or should he have like made a clear hierarchy and called up people that he's actually going to take to the World Cup? What do you think about that?
I think he's in enough of a unique position where like team is deep enough, um, especially on the fringes that's basically selecting 35 players and being like these are the guys. It's kind of a smart idea actually because it takes out a lot of doubts from guys because there's now we know what the inner circle is. We know who England are looking to in case of any emergencies, in case of who is the next guy up, and there's no obscurity in terms of who is going to be available to him here. Of course, things can change. Things can change, actually, is what Tuchel is kind of saying here. He's
Mm,
basically telling us that these are the 35 players that he's going to rely on heading into the World Cup. I think that's smart. I think we're far enough into the season where like it kind of doesn't matter anymore. Like I don't think with most of these most of these players are going to be playing in the Premier League. A few of them are abroad. But either which way, we're at the point in the season where very rarely are you going to get any new information. Even in terms of like someone like a Madison, for example, who'd be able to try and come back. We don't know if that's really possible. He doesn't even have the natural fitness necessary to be competing at that level. So being saying now that there are 35 players that we're going to go with, I think is actually a pretty smart move.
mm, I agree with that. And, I think at first, when he did the 35-man squad, I was kind of like, should you be doing this right before the World Cup, your final international break? Like, don't you want the players that are going to know that they're going kind of thing? But looking at how the international break went, looking at how England's games went, I actually think that was a very smart move from Thomas Tuchel because what it essentially did was it allowed some of the players who, are kind of on the fringes, are they going to go, are they not going to go? It allows some of those players to kind of like play their way either into the 26-man squad or play their way out of the 26-man squad. So they basically did the picking for themselves. They basically did Thomas Tuchel's job for him. And that was actually quite smart in my opinion. Like, it's nice to see that, some players were able to break into the team because I do think that there's one or two players who might not have made it to the team if they were not given this opportunity. I think that they should or they are actually going to make it now. So I actually think that was a good opportunity for a few of the players. And I think that was a good opportunity for Thomas Tuchel to see who should go and who should not go. But do you think that there was anybody that was unlucky to miss out from a 35-man squad? Like there were some big names there: Luke Shaw, Trent, Watkins. Were any of these guys kind of unlucky?
Not really. I think that that's kind of how the cookie crumbles. Just for the three names you just called there, Trent kind of had an on and off season. He's been injured here and there. He hasn't looked exceptionally great when he's played for Madrid. But Watkins has kind of had an on and off season. The entirety of Villa's attack has kind of looked a bit like I know Villa have been like I've kind of pushed back on the idea that Villa have been like that good. I think that they've been gotten the luck of the draw of a couple of different games, and I think that a lot of what they do is sustainable. That said, they are where they are, and that's fine. But Watkins has not played, honestly, a major part in that. The goal scoring has kind of fallen off. And much has to do with the structure and as much as the player itself. But I think there's more than enough. I think you can find more than enough players to kind of patch up a front line, especially when the striker you're going with He's probably the best on the planet. And last but not least, that everything was Luke Shaw. Same thing. I kind of just hasn't played enough. Hasn't
Mm,
been. Uh,
I'll
like
disagree
it's
with that though.
like sure, but like we've been doing this thing with Luke Shaw for years now, and it's just like I think like fullback is a position where like England are pretty like well stocked in. Like I don't think Luke Shaw having Luke Shaw in your team in this like inner circle of players who may or may not be going to the World Cup changes anything drastically for you. Like he's not like Trent. I think for me would be a much bigger contributor. Like I would like even if he's had a bad season, I would feel much more strongly about getting Trent in here in the way that Shaw just kind of isn't for me. And I understand where you're coming from, and just like
No, like I'm not like really defending Shaw. Like I think that if England decides to not go to the World Cup with Shaw, like I don't really have that much of a problem with it. Like he has played a lot more this season than he has played in previous seasons. He has been one of United's most reliable players. But at the end of the day, like we have done the dance with Luke Shaw before, like you said, and he's one of them ones that like he's a good player, he's a reliable player, but he's not really like a game changer. Where it's like,
yeah.
oh, if Luke Shaw doesn't go, then like what are we doing, right? But I would say though, like with Trent, I do think that Trent not making a 35-man squad for England, even when the deputy in Rhys James is out injured, not in the squad, just doesn't sit right with me. I know a lot of people have kind of like speculated and said, "Oh, are there problems with Trent and Tuchel?" Tuchel have come out and said that, like like he hasn't really had any problems with Trent. Like he talked to him and it's discussed the decision with him and everything. And I get all of that, right? But I just think that when you're talking about an inner circle of players who can potentially go to the World Cup, when you're talking about the 35 best players for England, 35 best players for the country, because that's basically what this is. This is the 35 best players in the country, right? And Trent not being one of those players just doesn't sit right with me. I know that he hasn't had the best season for Madrid, but at the same time, he hasn't been like terrible, right? Like, I think he has actually been decent. Like I think that especially in recent games, maybe not the most recent games, but like recent times, like I think he has actually been good for Madrid. And I just feel like with a player like Trent, like we're talking about Luke Shaw not being a game changer. Like Trent is a game changer. I know that like, a lot of factors have to go in when you're putting Trent in your team. But at the same time, I think that Trent is a game changer, given what he can give you going forward, given what he can give you on the ball. And when I look at him and I look at all the other players in fullback, like there's no other player that can bring what Trent brings to the team. Like look, sure you can see that there's other players in the team that can bring what he has already, but there's no other player that can bring what Trent brings. With James, you can argue it, but not to the level of Trent. And I just feel like you don't miss out on a player like that, in my opinion. Like that's just my opinion. You can say that there's bias there, but I honestly think that Trent should be making a 35-man squad at least and given the opportunity to seal his name in the 26-man squad.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think it is worth noting at the same time because you brought up Rich James there. Rich James has played league minutes just here. It's almost 1100 more minutes this season that Trent has. That's like I think it's a very fair gap given the fact that
But he's
that's
not
sort
even
of
playing in fullback though. That's the problem. Like
yeah,
he's
but
playing
he's
in midfield.
playing but he's playing, but he's not only is he playing. We know that Rich James is capable of playing at a Premier League to almost world class level as well as fullback. He's playing consistently. He's playing far more consistently than Trent has, and he's playing a lot more than Trent has this season. Like I am sympathetic to Trent because I agree for all the reasons you already stated. Like I think he's certainly to caliber and the level of player that you don't just make the exclusion of him. You allow great players like him an opportunity to get back into your team. But I do understand why Tuchel's done it. I do understand why they've come to that conclusion. And at the end of the day, I think we're getting to the point where you should have an idea of who you're taking. 35 man at least allows Tuchel to kind of narrow that number down and allows you to really get to really analyze these guys far more. So that I think ultimately it's fine. You still need to take players that are fit, and of course Trent has played here and there, but like Trent has played about 700 minutes. This is about the this is less than 10 like full 90s. Like he's not played that much, so it's like I think it's fine.
I mean, fair enough, man. Like, it's a decision at the end of the day, and he has chosen to not go with Trent. But right now, we have a decision on our hand because we're going to try and help Thomas Tuchel pick a 26-man squad from the 35 players that he has selected. I made it 36 because I just put Rich James in there, given that, he's probably going to make it regardless just because of injury that he didn't make the 35-man squad, right? So it's basically a 36-man squad, but I'm going to try and help Thomas Tuchel select a 26-man squad and just a couple of rules for the game. So as you can see, the tier list is divided into goalkeepers, defenders, midfielders, attackers, and misses out. So three goalkeepers, eight defenders, seven midfielders, eight attackers, and the rest of the people they miss out, right? So with that, let's just get into it, and we're going to start with goalkeepers. So I mean, this one, like, who are your three goalkeepers? There's no point of going keeper for keeper. Who are the three keepers that you think should make the 26-man squad?
It's a really good question. Personally, I would go with Pickford, Jason Steele, and
Ooh,
James Trafford.
ooh,
That would be
damn.
my the Jason Steele thing is one of the really like we had this conversation last week where we were talking about like having guys in the dressing room that kind of command respect. And the Jason Steele thing that kind of threw me aback because I didn't initially understand why he was called up. And then like almost like 2 minutes later, it hits me why he was called up. He's called up because clearly he's very well respected
Mm-hmm.
amongst English professional circles. He's clearly been brought here because he's respected. He's clearly well liked. I believe I saw something come out from the Athletic or one of those papers, one of those journalistic entities saying that Steed is well liked at Brighton and he's a key figurehead and all. I'm thinking with the third. I made this case last week as well. When you pick goalkeepers for a competition like this, and any competition, your idea is that you're only taking two guys, and your third goalkeeper is almost effectively like I wouldn't say he's like a vibes guy, but you're kind of I think the importance of your third guy is like is the kind of player that commands respect, and it's not just another player because
Mm.
the likelihood that they play at all is like next to none. So I'm comfortable with Jason Steele. I would go with him. Ramsdale is just kind of like whatever to me. Like
What about Dean
I'm not
Henderson,
very high
though?
on him. Again, like he probably gets the very unfortunate. Like if for me, if you said Dean Henderson over James Trafford, I'm
That's
fine with
that's
that
what
as
I'm going
well. Like
for. Like, I agree with the
that's
Jason
fine.
Steele shout, but
Yeah,
I
that's
think
fine.
that James
That's
Trafford might
fine.
have been like a starter for Man City. Like,
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Like I have no complaints with that. Like I'm compare. I went to Trafford because I think that he plays for the bigger club, and maybe that's the wrong way to look at this.
I
And
mean, if it's
and
like that, then
yeah.
Trent should have made it, right? So it's one
Well,
of them
well,
ones.
he's not in the inner circle, is what we've been told. So
I mean,
but yeah,
like,
but
what's it?
I understand what you're saying. It's
Yeah,
not, it's
no,
the,
yeah,
well, yeah, I know, but yeah, I'm fine with Henderson over Trafford. Like, I'm not, this is not the situation I'm going to die on. I'm fine.
yeah. But I agree with the Jason Steele thing, like, you never know why a person is getting called up. It can be for their impact on the dressing room rather than the impact on the pitch, right? And I think that a 35-year-old player like Jason Steele is 35 years old, by the way. Like, I just found out
Yeah,
about that
yeah,
today. Like,
like,
that's just something I wanted to point out. That's crazy.
yeah, and then but then the real kicker here is that like Steele has played 35 games since 2018. Like that is to me is the flashing red light that says that Jason Steele is well respected. Like he's played 28 games like in the last
Bro,
decade, like played 35 games in the last decade. Like I do not think he's with the England team because like he's an exceptional
yeah.
goalkeeper. So I think that's the guy. I think that's the guy I would take.
Okay, so we had some minor technical difficulties, and as you guys can see on the screen, we had to change the platform that we were using. But hopefully, this one turns out okay. But we're still going to carry on with the episode. Okay, but for keepers, we went with Dean Henderson, Jordan Pickford, James Trafford misses out, Ramsdale misses out, unfortunately, and Jesse Steele makes the cut, which is a big call from us.
Yeah, no, with the article with from Antonella coming out, who's the Bryson correspondent at the Athletic, that Steele is seen as a specialist, if anything, going to the World Cup. Someone who's going to work with the goalkeeping coach, work with the penalty group, kind of take the load off his main keepers. Tuchel even did mention that there's a possibility that he would take four keepers even. So
Four keepers
yeah.
just to carry Jason Steele.
Yeah, that's correct.
Ah, bruh. I don't know about all that, man. Like,
I can understand the process, the thought process behind it. I don't. I think at the end of the day, like three keepers is probably good enough. And the
mm,
third keeper, like I've mentioned before, is probably someone that you have that's just there for good vibes and respect in the dressing room. But if they have a plan with Steele there, like I think that that's perfectly fine. But for a thought experiment, I don't think it's particularly necessary that we have to include that. But worth noting as well.
yeah, I mean that's good to know because like if I saw four keepers in the England squad, I'd be like, what is going on? But that's good to know. But yeah, I think with our process, I think we just carry on with three keepers. So we're going to move on to defenders now. And how do you want to do this one? Do you want to go player for player, or do you just want to list out your players?
I think we should do player for player, but with the caveat that if we agree on something, we don't have to talk or spend too much time on it. If we
Hmm.
don't, they go into the misses out, and we can reevaluate once we're done with that specific group.
Okay, I agree with that. Okay,
Yeah,
so let's go for player then. And we're starting with Dambon. What are you saying?
I'm taking that done.
Uh, I'm not
That's
taking
fine.
Dambon.
That's fine. That's
Yeah.
fine. Put the misses out, and we'll talk about it.
Okay, Magay.
I'll take my game.
Okay, Lewis Hall.
I will take himself.
You take Lewis Hall.
Absolutely.
Okay, Konza.
Misses out for you.
Oh, that's a big one. I'm taking Konza, so I'll put him
Misses
Mrs.
out
out
for
right
now.
now. Okay, Livermento.
I would absolutely take it.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not taking Trent, I guess you have to. Maguire.
Yeah, yeah. I'll take Maguire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
O'Reilly.
Nico Ryan. I absolutely take Nico Ryan.
Yeah, I'm not taking Shaw. Might as well take O'Reilly. Kwanzaa.
Um, I don't know. I kind of want to see what we're left with. So I'm saying misses out on the basis that I want to talk it out.
Where like there's no like for me it misses out. Jet Spence.
Um, Too many fullbacks, I think, at the moment. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, I think Jed might just have missed out just about.
I like Jet Spence, but yeah, I
I
think
love Justin. I love Justin.
and the fact that like he is what's it called versatile and everything. I think it would have been nice to take him, but at the same time like it's one of them ones like you can only
That
take so
might
many
it
players.
might still end up. I mean, we're not even done yet here. I need two more defenders,
We need three more defenders.
three more defenders. Might still happen
Yeah.
for him, but I doubt it. But that's fine.
John Stones.
Couple with Stones.
I'm looking taking Stones, I can't lie.
Eh, sure. Like for me, he misses out for me at the moment. I won't talk about it.
Okay, so John Stones. Tomori.
No, I'm like I don't want to talk about it. I'm just like out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's sad. But sorry,
yeah,
that's with James. So with
fine.
James going, yeah?
Yeah, I'll take Rich.
Okay, cool. And Tomori misses out.
So we went with a number. What was it? Eight again? Was it
It was
seven?
eight
I can't remember.
defenders, yeah.
Eight defenders. Okay. So right now we have two center backs and three full backs. So let's see here. You wanted to end with how many again?
So
Oh,
eight
so
defenders,
six.
so
So eight defenders. Yeah. So right now we have
yeah,
six,
yeah,
and we're done with full backs basically.
yeah.
Yeah, because I'm
We're
taking.
done
Yeah,
with
yeah, yeah.
left back, yeah, we're done with
Cool.
fullback.
Yeah, we're done with full backs. Right. We have Livermore and James on the right hand side. So I think that's fine.
Hmm.
Um,
Okay, so
so
let's
on
start with
the
Dambon.
yeah, I don't know, like makes sense to me. Like you take guys like this all the time. Burn is massive. I think he doesn't defend space exceptionally well. He's not like a traditional like step up defender, but Burn is like he's six. I believe he's 6'5". He's going to be like an aerial monster. The responsibilities required for him are not going to be that high in the Tuchel system. He's going to play three at the back. Um, I think that there are worlds with kind of fullback quality and the midfield that England is going to put up that you can actually account for him. And he's just like he's again like the aerial thing is just like having a guy his size. It's a knockout competition, so set pieces are going to be important. having players of his size and his quality, um, just the kind of guys I want. Like he makes a lot of sense to me
Mm.
here.
I
So
don't
that's
know.
that's my case for him.
In my head, you either take Maguire or Dambon. Like I don't think you take both of them.
Take one.
And I don't know. I won't in my that's the way I think about it in my own head. Like I don't think that you take Maguire and Dambon. I think you take one of them. And if it was between Maguire and Dambon, I think I'm going with Maguire. He has the experience. He has been here before. He's playing well for United this season, especially since Carey came in and everything. Like I just think that Maguire has a bigger shout, his leadership, his impact on the dressing room, and I've seen him do it for England. Like even in his worst times for Manchester United, he's playing well for England. And I know it's not necessarily between Maguire and Dambon, but that's just the way the process is in my head. You take one of them, you don't take both of them. And if it's between Maguire and Dambon, I'm going with Maguire all day. So I just feel like Dambon, as much as he has been getting called up for England, putting in decent shifts here and there, I just feel like he misses out in my opinion.
I just don't think that's the calculus at all whatsoever. I think you can absolutely have both of them in your team. Um, of course, the defense is not going to be traditionally very fast, but I don't really care about that because I have what is going to be one of the best pivots. I have one of the best midfields. I probably have the
Mm,
best midfield at this tournament. I feel so much strongly about that. I think very few national teams can probably put a midfield as talented as this. I've seen a lot of people discuss like it doesn't fit. I completely disagree. I think that they have three players who, if you wanted to, if depending on what the formation was, that you have three guys who it makes sense. So making some concessions here and there are perfectly fine. Dan Burn to me is like truly, truly, truly the kind of perfect squad player. He's not going to kick up a fuss. He's not a heavily required player. And to be honest with you, John Stones has not played very much this season. I absolutely would not take him. Um,
okay.
I would not.
So
I
but
just
you
wouldn't
you
take him.
saying that like would you take Dambon and Konza?
Yeah, I think I'm fine with that. Like Konza is just not that much my cup of tea. I think he's like an okay defender at best, but at the same time, I don't really think that England are spoiled for choice in terms of elite defenders to begin with,
Yeah, that's the
especially at
thing.
centre back. So
Yeah.
I'm taking down Burn because I need more. I need players who do things exceptionally well. And Burn's USP is that he's exceptionally good in the air. He can deputize as a left back in the back four. You don't want
Mm-hmm.
it consistently because one on one, he's like, against like truly tricky wingers, and you're going to come
Yeah.
against a lot of those on that side. You do not want him in games, but I think that against a lot of teams, where England are going to be dominating possession, England are going to be better than those kind of teams. Having a player who's going to win aerial duels, who can guarantee you second balls, who's going to be steady, he's consistent. Like of course, the floor is just really high with Dan Burn, and I just think
Mm.
that this is the kind of guy you take. I'm fine with taking Burn and Kwanzaa.
Yeah.
Kwanzaa at Leverkusen is probably a little bit too soon. He's been pretty good this season.
Yeah.
Stones has very played, and I'm just not that impressed by Tomori. So that would be my case there.
Yeah. I mean, I would agree with taking Dambon if we balance it out with somebody like Konza, younger, faster, and everything. But if we take Dambon and John Stones, then that's when I have a problem. But yeah, Dambon and Konza, I can back that. But yeah, I see what you mean. Like number one, England are not really sport for choice in terms of center backs, and Konza, like I don't think he's the greatest centre back of all time, but at the same time, I do think that out of all the centre backs that they have right now, in terms of Tomori and all these other guys, I just feel like he fits best, like and he has played for England multiple times and played well, in my opinion. So
Exactly.
yeah, I think you take
Yeah.
Konza, but
Yeah.
let's move on to the midfield and Elliot Anderson.
100%.
Yeah,
Thousand
not
percent.
even a debate.
Every day of the week and twice on Sunday.
Jude Bellingham.
Absolutely.
Yep. Well, there's no debate there. James Garner.
Yes,
I'm
I'll take James
taking
Gunn.
James Gunn. I love, what I love. I like that there's no debate here. Like, I'm
No,
absolutely
he's
taking James Garner. Like,
Ghana is
I
incredible.
feel, I feel like he did too much in this international break to not go. Like how I said that one or two players made their way into the squad because of this international break. I feel like James Garner was one of those guys. I feel like if Tuku hadn't done this whole 35-man squad thing, there's a chance that Ghana's season would have been like left under the radar and to have been like, oh, you had a good season, but you're not going to make the 26-man squad, unfortunately, maybe next time or something. But I just feel like having him play these two games and the impact that he had in those two games, the one that he started and the other one when he came on, I feel like it just makes sense. And also, like some other players, I think they played their way out of the 26-man squad, and I think that James Garner took his opportunity to get into the 26-man squad.
Yeah, I completely agree. Completely agree.
Okay, next one is Jordan Henderson.
Um, I wouldn't take him, but I think they're going to take him. I think I think very few players can do like nothing. I think he could do exceptionally nothing and like he would still get taken. I don't believe he's captain anymore, but he's clearly part of the leadership group. He's clearly
Yeah,
well respected.
yeah,
Um, Henderson is not even like one of the guys that is like a respected just in England. The whole Ajax thing, he arrived at Ajax and almost immediately was their captain. Like he's clearly very well liked. He's very well regarded in player spaces. Um, I wouldn't take him on the strength of having on strength of quality. I don't think he's been like massively impressive, but it's not why you're taking him to begin with. He's not going
yeah.
to play much, if ever. When he does, it's going to be in situations where the game is won and you need to rest more crucial players. But he's clearly a commanding player. He's been a captain since I don't know when, but he's captained Liverpool, he's captained England, he's clearly respected. And you take guys like this all day of the week. You just need leaders in your squad, especially in the knockout
Facts,
tournaments.
facts. I completely agree. And yeah, he's not going on, merit in terms of his footballing ability, right? But I mean, if you're taking Jason Steele and you leave Jordan Henderson behind, then it's like, what are you doing, right? So I think you take Jordan Henderson to the World Cup because of what he offers off the pitch. And the next player on the list is Kobe Menu.
Um, it's kind of just unfortunate for me. I can't take him. It just doesn't make sense.
Mm,
It doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make
you
sense.
know what it is, yeah. You know what it is, yeah. Like, don't get me wrong, like, because I don't want to impute any bias in this. During this international break, especially, like, I don't think that Menu especially did. Like, look at James Garner making it into the 26-man squad. I don't think that Menu did that. I don't think he pleaded his case well. But at the same time, I don't think that there's any other player who pleaded that case enough to take Menu out of the 26-man squad. I think that when you're making this assessment and everything, and you're thinking, okay, he has been with the England squad before. He's currently playing well for Manchester United. Like, I just think that it's one of those things where he doesn't necessarily go on merit, but he goes because you know that he can do a job for you. And I just feel like Menu is the type of player that can offer you something in different scenarios, right? I think that you don't start him, you don't even bring in on as your, like, your first like impact sub or anything. But I feel like there's certain games where you take a player, like where you put a player like Menu, like, and I just feel like out of every midfielder that I see right now, I feel like he offers something different from like the likes of like James Garner and maybe even Adam Watson to a certain degree. And I feel like you take Kobe Menu
So there are two questions here. Number one,
mhm,
how many midfielders are we taking? Is it seven or eight?
7.
It's seven. So
Yeah.
number two, is Morgan Rogers an attacker or is he a midfielder?
We'll count Morgan Rogers as a midfielder.
Well, in that case, like there's no way to keep it up.
Oh,
The three guys you're taking are Declan Rice, Adam Watson, and Morgan Rogers. There's
true.
just
That's so
no
true.
not no, and unfortunately for Menu, like a lot of the guys in this squad already, like kind of. I'm not saying Menu's a fun player because he's like an in traditional midfielder. Like a lot of the things that make him good don't like. It's not that they don't show up. Like he's. I would say so. In basketball, there's this misconception where like a lot of players are good and they're great and like
Hmm.
you see it in like the points they score, the assists and everything. But these are not like not every like superstars or players who are just on the fringe of being a superstar are impactful players. They don't do
Yeah,
things that like actually win games. Whereas like
yeah,
there are lots of players that are more valuable because they do that. Anyways, this I go away from this tangent. What I'm trying to say is that Kobe Mano is probably one of the more impactful midfielders you can get here. Unfortunately, three of the guys that are left here kind of just offer things that are
yeah.
far more important. And unfortunately for him, this this case works more so at Manchester United, where the midfield makeup allows for him to be good.
Mm,
Here we have Ellis Anderson, Jude Bellingham, James Garner already. Those are three midfielders who do slightly different things. Jordan Henderson is already going to be the guy that's your leader.
yeah,
Declan Rice offers something different. Morgan Rogers also definitely offers something different. And
yep,
Watson, Rogers, Rice are like three completely different midfielders. But they're also three midfielders that in a patchwork midfield, even if it's just them, and I'm not saying that that's going to be their starting lineup, but even if it's just them, what they offer just kind of feels more like Meno. And so no, of course it's unfortunate. Had he played more minutes, maybe there's a case over Ghana, but or if Henderson was not still like could not still like move his legs or something in terms
yeah.
of like he's not like he's like he can clearly still play at this level.
Yeah, I
It's
know what you mean.
yeah, it's just unfortunate for Mino, like because there's we need to I think taking Rice, I think taking Wharton, and I think taking Rogers are all
Yeah,
three different players who are for the situations might offer you two different things.
yeah,
And even though Meno is exceptional player, probably would be the first midfielder off the docket if if one of these players gets injured or they're not able to
yeah,
compete or something happens, you know, he's the guy you probably call up right after. Unfortunately, I don't think that that is a good enough case right now.
yeah. I mean, you make a very good point, and like I said, I don't think that Menu did enough in this international break to say I'm going the way that James Garner did, and I think that it was kind of between James Garner and Kobe Menu to a certain degree, and putting James Garner in the squad just means that Menu misses out, and I just think that James Garner overall can offer maybe a lot more to England itself. Maybe not as a general footballer, but to England, I think that James Garner can offer more than Kobe Menu. And in that case, then yeah, I think that Kobe Menu unfortunately just misses out. I'm not going to allow my bias to creep in. But
Yeah.
that would be it's sad, but it is the way of the game. So Declan Rice makes the squad. Morgan Rogers makes the squad. And Adam Watson makes the squad. And Kobe Menu, unfortunately, misses out. But let's move on to the attackers. And this is where it gets interesting, my opinion, because there's some players I think should miss out that I don't know if you completely agree with. But let's start with Jared Bowen.
No, I don't think so.
He misses out.
Yeah.
Then I guess I'm not going to argue too much.
Yeah,
Because
it's just I can find wingers that do what Jeroboam. Like Jeroboam is a massively impressive player,
exactly,
but I can find wingers that do what Jeroboam does, and I'm just like
exactly.
I'm not that forced to have him in the squad.
Yeah, it's sad for him, but I just don't think that he makes it. Calvert-Lewin.
So this is basically a conversation between. So we can actually just like not waste time.
Yeah.
We can probably listen to like a double conversation. Because the conversation here essentially is do you take Solanke or do you take Calvert Lewin? And I
Mm,
am quite comfortable with taking Calvert Lewin over Solanke. Solanke's kind of had
same.
a stop start season.
Yeah.
The minutes haven't really been there. It's a struggling Spurs side. The output isn't really there. It's kind of and I like Solanke. I like Solanke a lot. It's just like
Imanti a
the
lot.
yeah, and it's kind of unfortunate because had Calvert-Lewin not been having the season he had, like Solanke would have been more or less the guy you take because to be honest, like it's not as if England is like pouring with striker options here. They're very
Yeah.
fortunate that Harry Kane is Harry Kane, and so that's the position they've not had to think about. Much like Spurs prior to Kane's departure recently. Well, not recently, it's been a while now, but you get the point.
Yeah.
So I'm fine with this. This doesn't have to be a long
Yeah.
conversation. Calvert-Lewin has just had a better season. He's looked really reinvigorated. He's looked really like
He looks
potent in
sharp.
front of goal. Looks really
Yeah.
sharp. It's like
He looks
and
sharp.
that's exactly the one. He looks really sharp. He's not snatching at. He's not thinking about chances. He sees a shot. He takes it, fires. He's picking out his shots really well. His
Mm-hmm.
XG is up just in terms of XG per shot. And that's which is like a good metric to kind of determine the kind of chances players are looking for. And it's just been a really good season for him. So I would take him. So like he's a
Yeah.
bit unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
This doesn't have to be too long of a conversation. So we'll be taking Calvert-Lewin and Solanke misses out. Easy.
Sorry, just before we even get to that, can we like
Yeah.
do the ones that are like really easy? Kane
Okay,
is going
cool.
and Saka
Yeah.
is going. We don't have to talk too long about this. Kane is going,
Okay.
Saka is going. Those are the two that I'm like I don't think there's a conversation. We can just add them. Those
Fair.
are the two best England frontline players around. So,
Okay, so Kane is going and Saka is going. Do you think that Rashford fits that conversation?
um, that I'm not immediately saying yes, kind of is my answer.
Fair.
Rashford too is kind of. I mean, I might probably still think he goes. I'm trying to. I'm also doing like the math in my head here at the same time. I'm looking around and I think he's going. I think he's going. Yeah, I think he'll go. I think he'll go.
Yeah, I think Rashford is
I think it's.
going.
I think he's done enough. Like it's been a. It's. I wouldn't say it's been a down. I wouldn't say it's been a down year for Rashford, but it certainly hasn't. Like the player who like carried United on his back and was like a 30 goals all comes. I don't know if it's 30 goals, but there was a year he had like I think
Yeah, well,
35
like
goals
30
and
goals.
assists.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was exceptional that year. I don't think that player exists anymore. I don't.
Yeah.
I think it's foolhardy to ever expect that that player is going to come back. But he's kind of asserted himself as this like as a really good like not a Robin, but whatever would be below a Robin in terms of like a third arm um forward who
Mm,
is just he fits in. He does what he's asked. He's still good on the ball. He knows how he can still create chances, and he's still like a really good finisher. He's not the player that he was, and that I think for a long time his perception was that for a bit. And I
yeah.
think that now that he's settled into this new role, this new idea, I think we're kind of it's been I saw a really funny graph from Spencer Mossman, one of my mutuals on Twitter, who like made this joke of like at times, like a player comes on the scene and we're really high on them, and then they struggle because they're young. And then this is more of an axiom of like young players, like as they get older, and then the
Yeah.
kind of where the hype is. We initially a player comes on the scene and they look really good, and we're all in like this is the next superstar. And then they
Yeah.
start to struggle, and then everybody's like, well, no, like this guy is overrated, and like he's not that good, and like he was never good to begin with. And anybody that said that he was being ridiculous. And then at some point that like equilibrium kind of levels out where you're really high and you're really low. But
Mm,
then the truth has always been somewhere in the middle that just keeps
mm,
going upwards. And I
I hear
think
that.
we are kind of now with the period of Rashford where everything is kind of leveling out and like the perception his the faults that come with him have been like people are talking about it in terms of like we're aware of it, like you know what
Like they've been
you're not
established.
they've
Yeah.
been established, like we're not expecting more of him, and
Mm,
and he settled into that, and I think he's even comfortable. And I think that's kind of why he wanted to leave United, because I think he might have struggled for the rest of his career in terms of not that with his talent, but with the perception, where he
the
might have been told
expectation.
forever that the expectation exactly, where people would
Yeah.
say, oh, where is the player that he's supposed to have? Because for a long time, like the Rashford conversation was like, this is the next Rooney, like this is the guy
Mm-hmm.
who is
Like he's
going to
probably
take
going to
United
get the
out.
highest goal scorer for United one day, stuff like that. Yeah, I know what you mean.
And I don't, and I even think even at the heights, and of course, a lot of this is like hindsight, and everybody's right when the thing has happened. But I think that I think that now that that has been taken away from him, not taken away in the sense that like he's not a good player, but that he doesn't have to deal with those conversations anymore. We're now seeing a player who is far more comfortable in this new role. He can still be a cog in a very productive team, but by no means is he like Lamine Yamal or like
Mm-hmm. Like he's not going to
he's
carry a
not
team to the
this.
top.
He's not going to carry exactly, and he's not this like supremo like Yamal. And of course, I can talk about Yamal forever. Yeah, but to me, Yamal to me feels like the Neymar level of talent, where like
Mm-hmm.
it's very possible that by like 27, Yamal might not have any legs left in him because of how many minutes he's playing.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to like it's going to happen at some point, and I think a lot of people will be a bit revisionist. I think that in a general sense, I think history will be kinder to Yamal than it will be to Rashford, and that is not nothing to do with Rashford, the player, the talent, the perception. I think that that's just kind of what it is, and it doesn't make him a bad player. It doesn't make him an unproductive player. It doesn't make him a non-impactful player, because I think he's all those three things. I just think for a long time where the perception was and who the player were just kind of didn't match up. And of course, there was a time
Mm-hmm.
where he was good and like he was still not being acknowledged. And now we're getting to the point where that is kind of leveling out. And so this version, this player, both in perception and in talent, is a far more interesting player, and he's far more the kind of player that you don't have to think about it. You put him in, and
Yeah,
I think that that's his. I think that that is it's perfect. I think yeah.
yeah.
The more I talk myself into it, the more we talk about it. I'm actually like really. I'm yeah. I kind of wish I had been a bit more unanimous about it. Yeah. I'll take him. I'll
Yeah,
take him.
100%. Like, I think that since he went to Barcelona, I think he has looked like sharp. I think he has looked like the pressure is off him. I wouldn't say he's having like a crazy season. Like,
Yeah.
he's not having like a super season. I think at the start of his career at Barcelona, he was having like a very good season, but that's kind of like died down and everything. But if this was United, then it would be more of like headlines of like, oh, Rashford started like this and now he's here. But now that he's in Barcelona with the likes of Yamal and Lewandowski and Rafinha, like all that pressure is kind of like off him, where he has kind of like died down a bit, but at the same time, like he doesn't need to be on full dial every single game because he's not the person carrying the team, he's not the person that the team depends on, right? So he hasn't been like 100%, but at the same time, he hasn't been bad and he has just kind
Yeah.
of hit that equilibrium, like you said. And I just
Yeah.
feel like that's exactly the type of player that England need right now. So yeah,
Absolutely.
Rashford goes. So I think Madueke fits that description just because Bowen is already not going, not because like he's Rashford or Saka.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm
Okay.
fine with Madueke. Like I think Madueke is like a fine player. I think he's different. I think that's what's important. Like he's different. He offers something different. He's the kind of winner that can go both ways. He can come in on the inside. He can stretch midfield. He can stretch not midfield, but can stretch fullbacks out all the way down to the byline.
Mm.
Decision making is pretty good. Like he's a good squad player. Offers something different. And I think that's you know just the kind of guy that he wants in the squad. And
Yeah.
like he's going to offer more and I think different to Bowen. And I think that that's
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of the point I was making in terms of like, if it was Saka on the pitch starting, no debate about that, and then it was between Bowen and Madueke, who do you bring on? I think that you bring on Madueke over Bowen because
Yeah.
it's going to offer something different from Saka. And also like I just feel like when it comes to England national team, like I think that Madueke has taken his chance a lot more. I think that on club level there's no debate about Bowen being the better player, but I just think that on international level, Madueke has shown that he's the better player and international level and club level are different. I just feel like just because someone is playing well club level doesn't mean that they're going to replicate it on international level, especially when they have different roles. Because at club level, Bowen is very much the maverick for West Ham, but at international level, it's just like this, like 15th man, not even like the 12th man, not that like he's like the 16th, 17th man, and maybe that doesn't really work well for him. So yeah, I just feel like Madueke is more comfortable being like a squad player, more comfortable coming off the bench and making an impact. So yeah, I think that Madueke makes it. And
Yeah.
I think the way I'm looking at this right now, it is between Gordon and Eze and Foden and Palmer. Do you agree with like that type of versus?
That kind of yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yeah,
But then if that's the case, like the conversation with Gordon and Eze is not a very long one. I'm
it's not
taking
a very
Anthony
long
Gordon.
one. Yeah,
I'm absolutely
like
taking Anthony Gordon.
I feel like in calm, there's not really space for Eze in calm. And also, I know I've never had the opinion that Eze is a calm. Like I think he can play calm. I think that he's one of those like winger ex calm guys. But I never had the perception that Eze.
Wing fielders, I call them.
Yeah, like wing fielders, like he's not a calm, and I just feel like when I'm looking at the players who are potentially going to play there, one of Foden or Palmer, Bellingham potentially, Morgan Rogers, all these guys, like it just doesn't fit. So I was more thinking about him as a left winger, but at the same time, like if it's between Gordon and Eze and Rashford, taking Gordon and Rashford, and they're more natural to the role. I rather natural players in that position for international level. Like I'd rather take a natural winger, a natural calm, a natural right winger, a natural striker than to be doing all this false nine, win through that debate. So yeah, I think I'll take Gordon over Eze any day of the week. I've always, since our last tier list, I've always had the perception that Eze kind of misses out on England national team for the World Cup. I just feel like he hasn't done enough.
Fun Anthony Gordon facts seems to have scored 10 goals in 12 Champions League games.
Ah.
I like I said, you reward players for good seasons, and the guy puts 10 goals up in the Champions League in 12 games, even though that's not predictive. It's not predictive. It's not suggesting that he's going to be incredible at the World Cup. But like I said, reward good players for good seasons. If you score 10 goals at Champions League, I'm going to take you to the World Cup. Like I don't know what else to say.
Who
It's kind
starts
of just
between
that.
Gordon and Rashford for you?
I think it's good. I think it's good.
I mean,
I think
you know what I hear? Like, it's one of them. Like, I'm not. My stance on Rashford starting is not as big, but like, the way I look at it, the World Cup is very much about moments, right? Like, it's very much about like who can produce a moment, and I feel like when you're looking at the two, out of the two, let's just say both of them are not necessarily having the greatest games. Who would you back more to produce a moment, a shot out of nowhere, beautiful cross, something? I just feel like it's Rashford, and
yeah,
that makes it sound as if Rashford's like come off the bench or something. But I just feel like Rashford has a moment in him rather than Gordon.
I think moments is not enough to like justify putting a player in like in a 90-minute sport. I think that's like moment of course moments happen and you want players that can take moments. But at the end of the day, like I still need a player that does like all the tangible, like
Mm,
real tangible stuff. And like Gordon is perfect because he's not a nine. This is not me suggesting that he's a nine, but I think he's a really good runner. I think he's good off the ball.
yeah,
I think he's okay on the ball. Like it's not exceptionally good, but like I think England would have enough players who are capable of doing it with the ball at their feet. And it's not to say that Rashford isn't, but like I think I want the player who is a bit better off on the ball because I'm going to have
mm,
Kane, I'm going to have Anderson, I'm going to have Rice, I'm going to have Saka. These are all players that are capable as creators. And now I think some of the squad needs to be fleshed out with players who are finishers. And it's not saying that Rashford is not a good, like again, like I need to make it clear. I'm not saying that Rashford is not a good finisher. Rashford is an exceptional finisher. It's probably actually his best attribute, if anything. But I don't need a gunman is the wrong word, but I just need like goals. And I just have a better picture of like England building up, and then there's a chance on the right hand side. Maybe Kane goes the run or something, and ball falls to Gordon, and I feel very comfortable about him finishing that chance. He's just a really smart finisher. Um, he's been really
no,
good, and I brought up the 9 point not because I think he's going to be like a striker, but in terms of like he gets central and he's comfortable getting central. So that would kind of be the case for me. So, but
yeah.
I think it's fine. I think these are like I always say these are good problems to have.
Yeah, these are good problems, and I don't. I think either of them start, and they're not necessarily good to. You're not good to have a problem, and that's why you take
Yeah.
both of them. Right? Like, if one is not doing the job, bring on the other one. But now onto the big one, and
No.
in my head, it's not that much of a debate because I'm kind of out on one player completely in terms of England national team. But Palmer and Foden, out of these two, who do you take?
Taking Foden.
Okay, I like that because I'm taking Palmer. And we can have a good old
Um,
fashioned
I
debate.
like you're going to have to tell me like what's the Cole Palmer take is like because like it's not been a good season. It's been an
It's
awful
not
season.
been a good season
It's
whatsoever,
been
but
it's been a disgustingly bad season actually, is what I would say.
yeah, no, Palmer is not having the greatest season. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
think
going
that's an
to,
understate. I still think that's an understatement of the season he's having.
okay, you know what? Palmer is
Like I
having
think
a terrible
I
season.
think he's
How
been
about
like
that?
actually like I think he's actually been like god awful, like truly god awful.
Calm down,
Like
calm down, calm down.
I'm
Not
no, I'm
too
so
much of
no
my boy,
no I'm
bro.
sorry I'm not coming down because
Not too
like
much of my
again
boy.
let's go through this experiment. So on the season in the league, Palmer has scored 9 goals. Would you like to guess how many of those have come from the sports?
6.
5. So we're talking about a player who, across all competitions this season, all competitions, has scored what I believe is at best because he's only scored 1 goal in every other competition this season, which was in the Champions League. He scored what I now believe to be one. He
Not
scored not one. He
too
scored five open
much
play goals.
on my boy.
5 open play goals. Absolutely not. I'm
See,
sorry,
you know what?
I
No,
can't do
so
it.
I
I
hear
can't
everything
do
that
it.
you're saying. No, I hear everything that you're saying. I hear everything that you're saying. But I was never really taking Palmer on merit. I'm not taking him in terms of profile because when I'm looking at the profile of all the other players who are calling up potentially Jude Bellingham, Morgan Rogers, all these other guys who are potentially going to play in calm, I look at a player like Foden who kind of has a similar profile in terms of like these guys are not like ball releasers. Like these guys are not guys who you like associate them with like playing that final ball. Like, your Bruno Fernandes, your Kevin De Bruyne. These guys don't have that in their locker, right? And I just feel like Palmer is associated with being like a ball releaser. Like that's kind of like his profile, right? Like, among other things, that's something that Palmer is really, really good at. And I feel like if we were to take off Morgan Rogers, Jude Bellingham, and you wanted to bring on somebody who has a different profile, then you're probably bringing on Palmer over Foden. And I just feel like Foden as well, like in terms of like the England national team, like we've done this dance multiple times with him. Like we've tried to find the best position for him. They did the false nine thing during the international break. Like I'm not feeling all that false nine thing. I'm not feeling Foden for England. I just feel like I've tried it too many times. I've tried to find a spot for him in this England national team, and it just hasn't worked out. In the Euros, when he was having, we're talking about taking a player on merit. The Euros was having, he had a PFA Player of the Season campaign, and he went to the Euros and did nothing. He literally did nothing. So you can take players on merit all you want, but like I said, like it doesn't always transfer to the England team. And I just feel like with Foden, like it doesn't transfer. And with Palmer, like I'm not saying that it transfers well, but I just feel like if I was to bring on one of the two off the bench, for us to take one of the two alongside the likes of Bellingham and Morgan Rogers, I think I'll take Palmer over Foden.
Take good players to the World Cup. I am like 90% sure that right now, Foden is a good player. I am 100% sure that Kopama is not at the moment.
Yeah,
At the
but
moment
like
is my caveat. He's been awful. Like he's like truly
Foden hasn't been that
awful.
great either, though. Why are you talking as if like Foden has been this like
That is
generational player?
he hasn't like again like the conversation we're having here is about like taking like trash versus garbage, and it's not even to say that these are trash versus garbage. I mean, I say that most as a joke, but we're having a conversation here about who gets taken on the basis of like what is left. Like these are not two players that have had like exceptionally great seasons, but like besides that, like Foden has played more. He's of course not been like exceptionally good, but he's played more. I think he's like in a baseline level of sharpness. Like Cole Palmer does not look like he's like it's bad. Like the stuff is bad. Like I need to like explain this. Like again, he has scored five. Like and I know he's been hurt. Like that's going to be the but like Opama has been in. Like but again, like the most important talent you can have is also availability, and like not playing and being injured and like things that keep players out. Like it's basically the Trent arguments. It's entirely the Trent arguments where like even though Trent has not been very good, the other part of the conversation is that he's also not been that healthy. Like he's things have come up. Like this has happened. He's been out for here. Like I think if he had more a consistent season, but not a good season, I think he'd be in the squad. And like Obama has had not a consistent season. He's not been healthy. He's not like he's of course he's now trying to find that sharpness. And importantly, and this to me is like the killer, like Kopama has 12 England caps. Phil Foden has 47 England caps.
And
I
has
need to
done
take
nothing in those
guys.
47.
That's fine. That's fine. I still need to take guys that know what we're doing.
I
I need
feel like
guys
I
that
feel like
understand
we
the
have enough guys that know what they're doing. I feel like
yeah,
Saka
but
knows
like I
what he's
need
doing, Kane knows what he's doing, Henderson knows what he's doing. Let's start taking guys
I
that
also no, but like take guys that what? Like good.
that can.
We should probably take good players. It would help
Wow,
it would help if we take good
wow,
players. It would help to take good
wow,
players. It would
wow,
help to take good
wow! I
players.
can't believe we stooped that low.
It's true. But it's true. Like it's true.
I
Like you what I know again we're not having this conversation on merit, but like what is the case for a guy that like genuinely has not had anything to like five penalty goals? Once he
yeah,
goes,
but what
you know what, you're right. We should take him because when England needs to take penalties, he'll be ready. That's the case.
I mean,
That is entirely the case. Absolutely not. Absolutely
bro,
not.
you even just brought up
Absolutely
another
not.
reason why you can take someone like Palmer.
Absolutely not.
Like I just like okay again that game against I can't remember the game in the Euros when he came on. Was it in the final? He came on and he scored. Does Foden do that? Foden cannot do that, bro. Like Foden had the entire Euros to say that okay, you know what? I'm just coming off a season where I essentially carried Man City on my back to win a Premier League title. Let me show that I can do it for England national team. And he didn't do it. So is it now where Foden is not even having that top tier
No,
season that one like,
yeah, but
okay, he's
it
going to
doesn't
do
matter
something?
because we're not talking about players as starters. These are not none of these guys are going to start. None
Yeah,
of
so
this
you take
conversation does not matter. So
so you take
you
the
take
guy
the
that can
guy
make an
who
impact off the bench.
yeah, it would
And
help if
Palmer
you
has
had played.
shown that he
Has shown can make what can do what exactly. What has
can
Cole
make
Palmer shown
impact
us
off
this
the
season?
bench.
When, where, and when?
At the Euros, I just said that he scored when he came
But
off the bench at the
so
Euros.
when he was actually still a good player, because right
But
now this season
we're
I'm
talking
not.
about Foden, who was a very good player and played dog shit at the Euros. That Foden,
That's
if we,
fantastic,
the way
and yet
Foden played at the Euros, you think he was having a Palmer season this season. That's the way Foden played at that Euros. In his
I'm
best
glad you
ever
call it a Palmer
season,
season.
yes, we'll call it a Palmer season because we're using this as a basis, right? So we're talking about taking a player who is having a phenomenal season. We took Foden, who was having a phenomenal season, started Foden when he was having a phenomenal season, went there and did nothing for 7 games. This guy is not it for England. I feel like you just take Palmer, and I feel like you take Palmer not because of merit, not because he's better than Foden this season, especially, but because he has a different profile that can offer something different to England, because he can come off the bench and make an
He would
impact.
definitely offer. Oh, he would definitely offer something different. He would definitely offer something different.
Very
Definitely
honestly,
offer something different.
I feel like rock paper scissors is the best way to go about this, and like, cause I don't see you, I don't see you, cause
You
I'm not
look you can take Cole Palmer. Like I'm perfectly fine with you taking like it's like so sorry. It's an England. How many players scored? Remind me again.
26.
26. The 25 English players that will go to the World Cup are going to be able to do us really well. And shout out to Cole Palmer, who will be part of
Yes,
the kit
yes,
team, who will be part of the kit
yes.
team.
I'll take it. I
Um,
don't care. I don't even
and
care. With all these rubbish that
make
you're doing, I
sure
don't even care, bro.
that
I'll
yeah, like sure, like it's
Foden
fine.
misses
Like
out.
fine.
I don't
Yeah.
even care.
I mean, the good thing is that like Tuku is going to take him, so I'm fine with that. Like Tuku will take him.
We'll take Foden.
I'm like so like for all the things, and we can wrap it up here. But for all the things that we're talking about here, a lot of this conversation that we have not accounted for, and lots of stuff that we are ignoring, is that some players are just going to get picked on the basis that they have a lot of England caps. Like some
Fair.
guys are just like Henderson has 89 England caps. It's the reason why he's going. Rashford has 70 England caps. Like it's not the reason why he's going, but it's one of the reasons why he's going. Like Harry Kane has 121 caps, and after all those guys, the next highest cap owner is Phil Foden. Like he's going to take Maguire, of course, as well, and Pickford. But outside of those guys, it's Foden. He's the next. He's the next. He was one of the next gen players in terms of like the guys after the Canes, the guys who are in their 30s, basically, who has the most caps in the England team. Like I don't know what to tell you. He's going to get taken. I feel very
That's fun.
confident about
That
that.
sounds fun. That's fine. Like that sounds jolly, and
Like
you
John
know
Stones,
that's.
had he not had a disastrous season, would have probably getting taken because he has
I feel
87
like John
caps.
Stones is going to go. Like I was going to go with John Stones just because you went with
But
Dan Bond. I said that you take.
he's like legitimately broken. Like he does not play. Like John Stones is basically a part-time footballer at this point. It's nothing against the talent. It's nothing
So is
against the
Jason
player.
Steele.
Yeah, but Jason still is not competing for like a position in which like Jason still is not going because he's like an exceptional goalkeeper. He's going because Tuchel told us the reason why he's going. He's going because they want somebody, they value somebody in the squad who is able to do certain things, who is going to be able to give them help for the goalkeeping group as well as the penalty group and taking the load off their 3 goalkeepers that they plan on going with. He's not going because he's an exceptionally good player. John Stones would actually be required to play. And somebody who has played in his last 3 seasons 1,859 minutes, 1,134 minutes, and 978 minutes. Somebody who has not played 2,500 minutes since the 22-23 campaign, who has not logged significant minutes. And just for the sake of transparency, what that would sound like is 28 games, 20 games, and 15 games. This is a part-time footballer. He misses half the season every single year. Yeah, I'm so out on John Stones. As good as he is, like you need to still play. Availability is literally the most important talent you can offer at any given time. He's literally never available.
Fair. That's fair.
So
Yeah. I mean, like you said, like Tuchel is still going to make decision at the end of the day. That's just our own opinion, at least half-hearted opinion, because they doesn't agree with a lot of things I said. But
just
that's
saying.
fine.
I mean,
But
I do with a lot, but it's just like the Cole Palmer season has just been a disaster, and so if he's going, like more power to them. Like like, as good as England is, like we can kind of see where the drop off in quality is around that Cole Palmer kind of side. But more power to them.
hmm,
Shout out to them. We're
Cole
not taking real
Palmer
hoopers to the World Cup anymore.
would be making the 2026 World Cup squad. That is my opinion. that is our opinion because I post it on there. But let us know what you guys think about this 26-man squad. Let us know who you guys will be taking to the World Cup and who misses out. But with that comes the end of this episode. Like I said, please subscribe to the channel. Follow us on social media platforms. Again, the art is the Open Play Pod on X, TikTok, and Instagram. Follow us on social media. This has been fun, but you have been a
Explosive.
pain in my ass. So I would
Explosive is
like
the
to
word I would
end
use.
this. I would like to end this episode. And yeah, I hope to see you guys again next time. Yes.